first. He's got some people are on the pitch. They think it's all over. It is now.
Recibe Cristiano. Gol del Real Madrid. Cristiano Ronaldo.
Costa Rica.
For hundreds of years, we've been entertained by it, hurt by it, driven and inspired by it. Football has the power to change lives in every corner of the world through many different ways. Here in Costa Rica, with a population of just over 5 million, football means so much more, especially after the 2014 World Cup, which really put this tiny Central American country on the global stage. In this short documentary, we're going to look at how a simple idea of using football and generosity has helped improve and hopefully change children's lives in some of the most impoverished areas of Costa Rica.
¿Qué es lo que más te gusta del fútbol?
Hacer goles. Bueno, lo lleva a ser alguien en la vida y aprender cosas más nuevas. Ser portero, que da energía.
Como uno se divierte y se despega de todo.
Tirar la bola a la caña.
Ser portero.
Porque me gusta tirar, meter goles.
Me gusta correr, me gusta ir por el balón, entrar fuerte. Es algo de otro mundo, muy bonito es.
They just love soccer, and I think it has to do with all of the culture throughout the country. It's just ingrained in them from, you know, their very early days.
¿Cada cuánto juegan fútbol? Todos los días. Es mi deporte favorito. Es divertido. Es divertido, es muy divertido.
You can just see that it really is like a huge deal here and a huge sport.
Lo saca de las drogas, de estar en una esquina vendiendo. Y lo mejor, uno pasa con los amigos, se distrae.
Football for me is one of the reasons I stayed in Costa Rica all those years ago, and one of the reasons I've been here for 12 years. The country loves it nearly as much as we do in England. So for me it was a very natural process.
You know, this country breathes football. You know, Costa Ricans are very nice, very quiet people, but there are two things. You give them football or you put them behind the back of a car. You know, in a car, they get very passionate and heated about it. And you can just see it just at weekends. You know, just look at their stadiums here. You know, they're always full.
And this is a country that shuts down when the national team is playing. The streets will be empty. Extended lunch breaks will happen. People will be they'll be in a bar somewhere, they'll be at a football pitch, at a stadium, around their friend's house, around their family's house. You're unifying this whole country united for this one moment when the national team is playing.
You know, it's Costa Rica's real big sport is football. And I mean, they invest a lot of money into it, and they have a lot of international players now. Again, it's an easy sport to get into. You don't need a lot of equipment, and anyone can do it. All you need is a ball. Sometimes you don't even need a ball, you know, a bag full of paper and, you know, or a paper ball or a Coke can or whatever, you know, you can start kicking it around.
So the roots of Tacos for Ticos began in early 2013, and we were attending a British embassy party, you know, something quite novel, celebrating the Queen's birthday one April. And there was a really cool group of kids who had been brought along, and they were playing five-a-side football to encourage more people to get involved with the non-profit organisation Educación Plus.
They introduced us to Keith. Keith Holder, and Keith basically had started Educación Plus down here in the 90s. As he put it, you know, it was just an escape for kids kind of in more shanty towns, as he would say, whether that be table tennis or coming to, basically they had Bible reading, football, those kind of things.
I came here in 1992 and we got to know some very poor people who came to the door, children and things, and through them we got to know their families, and we went into 3 areas, a La Abuelita, en Los Guidos, and Pavas.
Aquí no habían ranchos, todo esto era abierto.
Ah, ok. Y jugaban fútbol aquí en este espacio.
Exacto, jugamos fútbol en todo esto. Llegó ahí a la comunidad, llegó con una piscina de agua, una de plástico, y todos nos metimos. Yo pensé que él llegaba por un momento, y al final se quedó y hasta la fecha seguimos con Educación Plus.
A number of these boys, you can see in the background, live in these shacks. It's raining now, so they've probably got bowls and saucepans around catching water. There's no heating, which you might think doesn't matter in Costa Rica, but when it's like this, it can get really quite cold. You're halfway up a mountain and you've got no thick walls or roof or anything. You've got tin roof, so you can't hear yourself speak, can't hear the television if you've got one. In fact, there's one area there, quite a big area, where you have to walk over duck boards, and under the duck boards, the sewage is running from the houses.
When we went to San Felipe, one of the largest shanty towns in San Jose, that I think I'd never seen anything like it before. It really looked like something out of a movie to me. The houses are all made of tin and they're kind of caving in on one another, and there's no light. Even though we were there at maybe 4 or 5 in the afternoon, it looked dark out. And the kids are just wandering around on dirt patches and standing and eating their snacks in front of these shacks that literally have bullets through the doors. And it really was shocking and really upsetting, and it made me want to do more.
When I came here, none of this was here. This was a coffee plantation, and there was just half a dozen shacks, and then it's all grown up. And why am I casual about it? Well, probably because it goes on a lot, so it's just everyday life. But also, it's a bit of a sort of self-defense. If you get very upset about it, we have boys, particularly boys that I've known who get shot and killed and all sorts of things. I mean, my wife used to tell me that I didn't cry enough, I didn't show my emotions enough, I bottled them up too much. And I said, well, if I come around there and cry, what use am I going to be? Anyway. I was desperately trying to find something to keep them occupied, at least one night a week, and give them something to be interested in, which would sort of be in their minds, and it was a challenge. It was my dream to either start a football school or be able to put my kids into a football school where money wouldn't be a problem. 2012, 2013, the British ambassadors here got in touch with me and said, we've got some money we can give you from the London Olympics. In these places, there is a lot of talent, real talent. It doesn't get spotted. Nobody comes in here looking for talent. We decided we wanted this football school because we wanted them to have the opportunity. Poverty is a lack of opportunity.
Immediately that day offered my services as a coach. I was like, Keith, me and my colleague here, Rich, we love playing football. Would you want us to come along and meet some of these kids and coach them?
Again, there's nothing that really sparked it, just we were like, hey, we like to play football, we'd love to teach other kids here to play football. And so really the opportunity arose and we started to speak to Keith, and we started basically the Football Academy there.
So we started for about a year attending as coaches up in San Felipe.
Entonces ellos venían, nos ayudaban y todo era voluntariado, ¿verdad?
And it was going really well. We got integrated very quickly. We got to know the kids. We started developing good relationships. We noticed the kids were getting much better, and it was a consistent thing. 2 hours every Wednesday a week. It was great.
And then the executive team at NAMU really saw that it was kind of catching on. You know, we had about 30 kids at that point. Then NAMU decided to sponsor the kids for uniforms. So we got the uniforms. We started to buy balls, cones, basically everything that we needed for the Football Academy.
Shortly after that Christmas, the following year in 2014, me and Richard thought it would be a really good idea to actually establish our own team much closer to the NAMU travel headquarters in San Jose in La Sabana. With the main purpose of getting more members of staff involved, we knew that Education Plus had connections in Lomas, the barrio in Pavas. And this is one of the largest barrios, shanty towns in Costa Rica, with nearly 100,000 people living on the west side of San Jose. The great thing about Education Plus is they have boots on the ground in this barrio. So they already had an affiliation here, and we thought, well, it just makes sense to also start a football academy down here. So fortunately, we were able to get access to the Ernesto Romoser Stadium, which is very close by, and Education Plus helped get the kids, somewhere between 20 to 30 students, up to the football field, and we started training. We started our own school, and thus Tacos for Ticos was born around mid-2014.
The word tacos, which basically means football boots, and of course ticos, which is the slang for Costa Rica, tacos for ticos. And then that really started to take off. We ended up with about 40 or 50 kids. Then a couple of those kids actually went on to basically be trained professionally as well. One of the kids actually went to Real Madrid. Through some contacts we had, it kind of really just escalated really quickly.
We give them an environment to play this sport in a professional environment. We're playing in lovely football pitches, whether it's in the park or whether it's in the Ernesto Ramos Stadium or a five-a-side football pitch. So I think they feel quite proud. They're able to look forward to this. This is something they look forward to, every week.
Mi nombre es Justin, tengo 14 años y tengo 2 años de estar en este programa.
Mi nombre es Jefferson y llevo 2 años de estar en este programa y 1 año que me metí en el equipo de la Peña Madridista.
Y que ahí aprendemos ya a jugar y todo, vamos a entrenar.
Nos salimos de la rutina del barrio.
Sí, así nos alejamos un poco del ambiente del barrio y vamos a jugar fútbol.
Tacos for Ticos ha sido de una gran bendición para el proyecto, ¿verdad? Tanto como para Educación Plus como para los chicos que están en el proyecto, porque los ha beneficiado de muchas maneras, ¿verdad? Por medio del fútbol ellos han aprendido valores. El fútbol nos une en realidad, une cultura, raza.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it gives them a bit of discipline because, some of them come from, areas where maybe, they have both parents, so they get that. Sometimes they only have one, or sometimes they don't have any parents,
So it helps them to learn from losing, to win them magnanimously. It helps them to work together, and just the camaraderie. It really changes the community.
Y yo quiero, aunque sea, llegar a un equipo de primera o algo. Entonces, uno solo sigue entrenando y ir luchando por los sueños de uno.
A couple of the students who show a really good skill when it comes to football, as well as people skills, and perhaps they're really good on the pitch, but they lead as captains. These also happen to be some of the older students. Therefore, they take that responsibility upon themselves to kind of manage some of the other team. And we encourage this kind of leadership, as that's a great skill to have moving forward. In fact, one of Educación Plus's full-time staff members, Oscar, came from the football school. He came up, he played football, he played very, very well, and now he's a leader inside Education Plus.
Bueno, si usted lo ve alrededor del mundo, un balón hace un montón de cosas, ¿verdad? Y para esos chicos no es la excepción, son igual que los demás. Solo que por vivir en un lugar así tienen las oportunidades más cerradas. Pero hay un montón que tienen aquí talento.
You get involved in a team activity because as human beings we like to affiliate ourselves with groups. We like to be able to follow a football club. The gang leaders in these areas do affect these kids' lives. And one of the things that Tacos for Ticos does is take them out of this environment and possibly provide them with a new team to establish themselves with.
When I first came here in '92, they were poor, but you didn't have these massive social problems that you have now. And the basis of 90% of the social problems is drugs.
Cuando yo era más joven, solo había una persona que consumía droga en el barrio. Ahora el que no consume droga más bien es una persona extraña, ¿verdad? Que se salvó del montón.
El Ministerio de Seguridad Pública tomaron las calles de la Jolita.
Ustedes andan matando, asaltando y se ve mucho la venta de drogas.
3 personas detenidas y en las
Paz es un lugar demasiado conflictivo. Ellos están propensos a muchas situaciones, a muchos eventos como balaceras, asaltos, maltrato verbal.
Como a la edad de él tiene 14, ya no empiezan a inducir, a tentar lo que venda aquí, que se unan a ellos. Yo tengo amigos que los tentaron, se fueron por la tentación, por la fama y el dinero y esas cosas. Y dejaron el deporte y lastimosamente hay un amigo que falleció por meterse a esas cosas y él era muy bueno jugando fútbol.
What we're really trying to do is, basically, have fun with the kids and hopefully teach them some stuff about, about life and also about football. And yeah, I mean, just we do our part, and if it helps, just one kid, then it's had a big impact. If it doesn't, we're still having fun doing it, and I think the kids are as well. So more and more keep coming every week, so they must be enjoying it.
We thought it'd be a really good idea of asking our many clients that come down to Costa Rica on vacation to bring any used football cleats that they can donate to our program.
And then we put it basically on the literature that went out to clients before they arrived. And again, very organically, it just started to increase, and we'd get a couple of, a pair of boots, and then bags would start coming, and then, big, huge bags.
Yeah, and the response was amazing. I couldn't believe the vast quantities of football boots that came down. It was quite amazing. Pretty much simple as that. We asked them to bring down the cleats, or footballs, or goalkeepers' gloves, or shin guards, socks, clothes, anything they like, and we'll donate it. When they arrive in the airport, they leave their donation bags with our drivers, and I'm left with all these amazing football boots. Some of them new, some of them used, some of them in great condition.
We never thought it would be, it would get this big and so many people would be bringing, stuff down. But the majority of the times it's just some people just bringing down a ball, some old cleats, some clothes, basically pumps, everything.
Come and have a look, guys. We've got so much stuff in the back of the van. It is basically full. Balls, up to 200 different pairs. It should be a great day. I'm super excited. Many of these kids, again, at these schools don't know we're coming. This has been about 3 months in preparation, and I know a lot of people are turning up, so I'm super excited.
¿Qué talla sos vos?
Mi nombre es Adriana Morales, trabajo en el departamento de Producto, Partner Services acá en CRB. Y yo le ayudo nada más como a la logística, a tener todo lo que ocupamos y llevarlos a los lugares. O acomodar los tacos, limpiarlos, ir a entregarlos.
When Adriana got involved, she was fantastic in helping us make some connections to other soccer schools in the local area.
Tengo un amigo que tiene una escuela en Río Azul. Cuando lo fui a visitar me di cuenta que habían chicos que sí ocupaban tacos, que iban tal vez con sus propios zapatos de la escuela a entrenar y demás.
This is the Rio Azul Soccer School, which is actually sponsored by one of the biggest football clubs in San Jose called Saprissa, which is why a lot of these kids have these Saprissa jerseys, the purple and white.
Quería abrir una escuela, se dio la oportunidad acá. Es una comunidad bastante difícil, entonces igual la parte social es muy importante. Sí. Lo que tratamos es sacarlos de drogas, obviamente, a los más grandes. Este nivel 4 son de 15 años. Ellos, para Saprissa, estos son semilleros. Es difícil de que salga alguno para primera división, pero sí salen, hemos sacado varios. Sí. Bueno, y con cosas como esta podemos hacerlos más felices, ¿verdad? Con un par de tacos y con cosas tan pequeñas, ¿verdad? Que para uno es pequeño, gracias a Dios que uno lo tiene, para ellos es algo súper importante. Si no fuera por estas cosas, digamos, y todos esos juegan en tenis y a veces ni tienen tenis.
Muchas gracias. Con mucho gusto, disfrutarlos.
Definitely a huge boost to them because they get the opportunity to get, equipment that they need to enjoy a sport and an activity that they really would have a hard time doing otherwise, or that they could get hurt doing otherwise.
And then from there, it just kind of grew exponentially. We had other partners, other vacation partners, hotels around the country that also knew of charity football schools, and they asked us, could we get involved?
La venida de este proyecto acá es importantísimo porque ellos tienen esa gran oportunidad. Aparte de tener el espacio, tienen los implementos para poderlo desarrollar bien. Somos 4 docentes, tenemos 2 aulas de primer y segundo ciclo y una de primaria.
So we meet the people in charge of the individual projects. This is a kind of a unique experience, and I really wanted to share it. We're in San Carlos, which is 2 hours north of San Jose, the capital, on the Caribbean side near the volcano. And what are we doing? We're actually engaging with our charity program, Tacos for Ticos.
Las escuelas que fueron involucradas estos días acá, la verdad están muy contentas, muy agradecidos. He hablado con padres de familia y algunas maestras y editores están muy contentos porque la verdad traer una actividad como estas para que los chicos tengan sus tacos, sus camisetas, sus bolas, por lo menos para divertirse, para jugar, eso los motiva a seguir adelante.
The kids are always really well behaved. They're managed incredibly well. They're playing football. We bring them over. We line them up. We see what kind of shoe size fits them. Are they missing shorts? Are they missing shin guards? We try and kit them up as much as we can.
My job is to interact with the kids, get to know them a little bit, and then get to pass out cleats and see how happy they become.
To give them this is something that I think that even though their parents, I'm sure, would love to give them these things, they just couldn't.
Costa Rica is a country where this equipment is very expensive. The import tax for some of these really good brands, Adidas, Nike, it's not cheap. So for many of these people, they can't afford it even if they were used.
And a lot of the time it's the first pair of boots that they've got.
Esos tacos que ustedes regalan ahorita, que ellos van a llegar a la casa y los van a cuidar como un tesoro.
¿Te gustan? A ver, enséñalo.
Become really clear to me that here soccer is not just a sport. It can be a way out for many people, and it can be not necessarily a distraction but a form of escape. A lot of the kids that we've interacted with have really tough upbringings, and I've heard some of their stories through some of the coaches that speak English. They'll talk to me on the sides while we're donating and like point out a couple of kids and say some really upsetting stories, but then you look at them and they're out on the field as happy as can be, playing with their friends with their brand new pair of cleats, and that's really, really cool to see, because it's like literally right there in front of you. You can see how much of an impact soccer itself has.
You know, that's really the idea behind Tacos for Ticos. It's, you know, number one, something that our clients can do, but number two, that also our staff can do, because it's kind of spread from there. Sometimes we have some of the kids come in the office as well. They do preparation for exams, you know, we do English classes, those kind of things. So even though it's kind of based around football, it's kind of expanded out into all these different areas.
Following this, the local TV station here in Costa Rica, Teletica, Canal 7 were super interested in the program because it was obviously taking off. The Facebook page was doing well, people were getting in touch with us. And we did a small 10-minute report with them about all the work we had done, and then it just kind of blew up. The following week I had 200 to 300 messages all coming in, phone calls, schools from all over Costa Rica.
When we have more people doing it more often, we will also be able to develop it further into who knows what, you know, all sorts of different avenues that could grow from this, and I think it's a really solid first step.
Positive energy surrounding the program, because it's people helping in a positive way to not only give them materials that they need for enjoyment, but also knowing that they have the support of that organization, Tacos for Ticos, for whatever they needed.
So the goal of Tacos for Ticos moving forward is to affiliate ourselves with maybe 4 or 5 schools in the immediate area, or affiliate ourselves with 4 or 5 NGOs that are already working here, so we can actually establish a relationship with the students who are already involved in these soccer schools. So it's not just going to any random school around the country and donating football boots and soccer equipment, but actually giving our time with students that we will see 2, 3, maybe 4 times a year, and actually see their growth. And that way we have more of an impact, and I think we can see more of an effect in the direct communities that we get involved with.
La mayoría ni siquiera se espera que los tacos sean de ellos, ni siquiera saben que vamos a llegar, entonces donde vos llegas les das los tacos y les dices, hey, esto es tuyo. La cara que ellos ponen de verdad es lo que nos motiva a seguir haciendo esto.
What I really love myself is actually going and getting involved. Because I think sometimes they see, you know, oh, I'm a gringo, I'm a foreigner, maybe they don't know if I speak Spanish, or when I start speaking Spanish and then I go and get involved, then they get really relaxed and they have a really good time.
You can really tell how thankful they are for the cleats and how excited they are to get them and also to meet us and to play with us.
We're 3-2 up, and it's the most challenging pitch I think I've played on in a long time. And they're all very happy.
And it's really such a small token that you're giving them, but it can grow into something so big. It's so much bigger than you could even imagine, because you just don't know yet.
Cuando usted piensa que es un trabajo que se echa en un saco roto, ¿verdad? Que no tiene frutos. Pero aquí usted ve el fruto, ¿verdad? Usted no sabe cómo va a terminar un chico. Tal vez en ese momento anda mal, pero sé quién le dice que en 5 años él esté bien.
Es un medio importantísimo de darse a conocer y superarse. Yo siempre he pensado que un jugador debe ser un jugador integral, donde debe estar la parte educativa, la parte deportiva, la parte humanista, la parte de valores. Entonces, el fútbol va a cambiar a una persona de una manera increíble.
And it's really nice to see that they do see a path. They stay in education longer. They see the value of it.
We talk a lot about how sports can act as like a universal language. They're very communal and they bring people together, and I could see that even though I'm not a soccer player, like giving them the materials that they need to play a sport that they loved. It was really, really awesome to see and to be a part of.
Que sigan con el estudio, que es lo mejor, lo que lo va a sacar de la pobreza, buscar lo mejor, estar en un buen equipo y practicar el fútbol, es lo mejor que hay.